Hey guys, I want to talk about a really controversial topic, and that's why Facebook is probably destroying your relationships. Now, wait, before you hit the back button or the dislike button, or if you leave a nasty comment down in the section below, just hear me out. That's all I ask. And now, if you haven't checked out my introduction video to the Rebels for Christ channel, please do that. It'll give you some background information on why I'm doing this and just my heart behind it. Now, I want to talk about some pros and some cons of using Facebook and other social media websites like Twitter, Instagram, any other type of social media like Tumblr. Basically, I'm going to go over the pros first before I go into the cons. And basically, I have 5 pros. So the first pro is the convenience. This is an awesome age, digital age that we're in now, where we can just easily just pull up our smartphone app, Facebook app, and just, send a message or leave a comment on somebody's profile, or update our status about what we're doing, or take a picture. It just wasn't like this back then. We didn't have that type of convenience. If you wanted to talk to somebody, you needed to call them up on the phone, or you needed to go to their house and talk to them. And so nowadays it's just super convenient, and there's so many different forms of communication nowadays. My second point is the quick connection. And basically that is when you have this convenience at ease, it's easy to make a quick connection with anybody. Maybe you want to talk to an old high school friend, or somebody that maybe you haven't seen in a while, and Facebook is a nice way to contact somebody and get a hold of somebody, and that's one thing that I do like. Number 3 is fast news and daily encouragement. Now basically you can just get so many articles and so many just things, the news that's flying around, and it's just so easy to be updated about whatever, the media and just the weather and the news, and just and you can it's kind of like Twitter too, where you can kind of follow somebody and then you can find out what they're up to. Maybe you're following a musician or an artist, or just whatever, a sports star, or I don't know, whatever it may be. And you can stay constantly connected that way and just learn, constantly every day. Whereas you don't have to stay subjected to the news that you see on, your local news station. Number 4 is the multiple ways to communicate. And basically, like I kind of mentioned before, you have Facebook, and you got Twitter, and you got Instagram, and you got all these different ways to communicate with each other. So, there's so many different ways to do it, instead of being held back by one, platform of social media. There's so many different types. And I guess there's MySpace too, but I don't think anybody uses MySpace anymore. And number 5 is the free promotion or marketing. And so say you're an artist, like a musician, and you just want to promote your music, or say you're running a business and you want to promote a product, and you can do that through Facebook, and it's free. I don't know if there's other types of marketing where you can pay Facebook a fee of some sort to market your product. I don't know if that's possible, but I know that basically for the most part it's free, at least as far as I'm aware. Now I'm going to get into the 5 cons of social media, and basically this is really what I wanted to get across in this video. The pros are nice, and I like to look at the bright side of things, and I like to look at both ends of the spectrum and not just be kind of one-sided. So the first con of Facebook and other social media is it's basically a boasting platform. When you write a status, or you take a picture of your food or whatever, you're basically, it's like you're standing on a pedestal and you're boasting about your life. And maybe you're not trying to come off that way, but many times that's the way it comes off, because it's just the way it is, and then you're kind of like waiting for those likes. You're waiting to see how many likes can I get, or how many comments can I get or whatever. I to be honest, I don't really use Facebook all that much, so I'm not too in tune with it all, but I get the kind of gist of it, and I have a Facebook myself. So I don't bash people or condemn people for using Facebook. I totally approve of it, just not everything that comes with using Facebook and other social media websites. Number 2 is communication just isn't deep enough. If you look at the definition of communication, it's basically made up of 2 things, and that's basically verbal communication, so that's when you speak. Then nonverbal is when, like I just used the gesture. It's any kind of hand gestures, your feet, your eyes, and your mouth and your nose, and the way that you just, like your mannerisms, like the way that you kind of just communicate by moving your body. That is nonverbal movement or communication. When you take those 2 things out, which Facebook and other social media websites do, you basically eliminate communication in itself. It really isn't communication anymore. It's broken. That's why it doesn't function properly, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But basically, because it doesn't function properly, it's hard to really communicate effectively. When you're communicating with somebody, you can only go so far with it when you communicate through Facebook and the social media, because you're not having any face-to-face. Like, for example, like right now I'm talking to my camera, but really, when I upload this video, you guys are going to be seeing it, and it's like I'm talking to you, but I'm really not. So in a way, I'm not really making a connection, and because you're not face-to-face with me. There's just this deep kind of intimacy that comes from a relationship or a friendship when 2 people or even a group of people surround themselves with each other and they just talk and using their verbal and their nonverbal communication. So because you don't have this with Facebook and social media, this is what makes it broken ultimately. Number 3, and this is a very important one, and that's just a false image of yourself. When people scroll through your Facebook feed and they're looking at all your statuses and they see that you're just doing so well. Oh, you went to the park and you hung out with your friends, and you went to a fancy restaurant, and you whatever it is that you did, and it's like basically people only see the highlights of your life on Facebook, because most of us aren't gonna post all the the negative stuff, right? We're not gonna post the things that are bothering us, or the things that are hurting us, or just the things that we're going through that are really personal. We usually prefer to either hide those things altogether or only converse with other people about those problems. And so there's actually, and maybe I can leave a link to an article that explains it. Don't hold me to that. I'm going to look for it when I upload this video, but an article that explains the statistics of people that the more they use Facebook, the more depressed they get. And that's really sad, but I can see that becoming a reality for many people, because you might look at your life and like, man, my life sucks, and I see all these people and they're doing so well, they're doing so awesome, and and it's only because you think that they're doing better, but they're really not doing better. It's just only what you see with your 2 eyes. So that leads me to my 4th con of using Facebook and other social media websites, is that you feel intimidated by others. It's easy to just, again, look at people and their success and get overwhelmed and compare yourself, which it isn't really healthy to compare yourself to others, because it only kind of brings you down, because then you may lower your standards for somebody else, or you may raise your standards for somebody else. So you may raise a standard that is impossible to achieve that someone else is achieving, maybe because they have more experience in whatever this area of their life, or maybe they're gifted with a certain talent or whatever it is. And then at the other end of the spectrum, when you compare yourself to somebody that's even lower than you, then you think, well, you know what, I don't gotta try as hard, right? You know, for example, you know, I'm getting a B in my class, but you know, my best friend's getting a C, so you know, maybe I can get a C too. Why does it matter? You know, I don't gotta impress anybody, or you know, I'm doing better than everyone else, right? And so I don't want anybody to set unrealistic expectations for themselves too high, but I also don't want people to set too low of expectations for themselves. And I think it's good to have standards, but sometimes it can get out of hand. And the fifth con to using Facebook and other social media websites is the fact that your life isn't private as much as you might think it is. You know, and a lot of people are becoming more aware of this, but the fact that every time you post something, you know, a lot of times you can, I forget how you do it, but I know that you can post where you are, the specific location, like, oh, I'm eating at this restaurant in this city, in this place, this address, and that may be a cool feature, but you got to think about the safety concerns with that. You know, I don't like to get too paranoid, but I like to be wise about who I'm telling, you know, where I am at all locations, you know, and I think that it's important to really to consider for yourself what kind of information you're letting out, and it's kind of ironic because, you know, for the most part, Facebook in itself is kind of just like most of your information is already out there anyways, but it's good to just keep a lot of that stuff away from, you know, strangers as much as possible. And now I have a bonus con. And that's basically texting and instant messaging and email. Now these three things basically go into context with the miscommunication and just non-effective communication that comes with using social media. And that's because it also doesn't use verbal or nonverbal communication. And when you don't have those things, you can't really have communication. It's broken, and you don't get your point across. So what happens when you end up texting somebody is basically they just don't get the message the way that you want to send it. They just don't perceive it the same way. And that's what kind of makes texting and emailing and instant messaging and just social media just dangerous in that regard. You know, it's nice when you have a really basic message like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. You know, you say you're going to a friend's house and you say that. But like when you have a really complicated relationship, like, you know, say, you know, like you're married and you're trying to send a text message to your spouse, and you say, you know, I'll be there soon, and which seems okay, you know, say you're going to see them and I'll be there soon, but maybe that person, because you're so close to that person, and that person might be having a bad day and they perceive that message the wrong way, and then they end up sending a message back, you know, with, you know, kind of a rude remark. And so I'm not saying this happens all the time, but I've seen it happen in my life. And you know, where I'm just trying to text something to somebody and I totally say it in my mind in the right tone, the right words, but to them they may perceive it differently. But it would be different if I said that in person or if I said that over the phone. See, the thing about the phone is that you still have verbal communication, you don't have nonverbal, but you still can hear somebody's voice, and that's more than enough when you hear the tone of somebody's voice and the message you're trying to get across. So another thing I want to mention is that, you know, starting this YouTube channel, you know, I know that it kind of acts a lot like Facebook in a sense, because it is a social media platform in a way where you can leave a like or a dislike or a comment, or you can subscribe. And you know, I know that there are a lot of YouTubers, it's easy to think that all they want is subscribers, or all they want is the likes, and they, you know, just they want that popularity. But that's not the point of this channel. The point of this channel is to spread the love of God to people and spread the gospel. And yeah, I appreciate it when you guys leave a like, or I appreciate it if you subscribe. But I just wanted to throw that out there just to let everybody know my heart on the matter. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, if you have something to say in a comment and something else that you can add, a pro or a con, please let me know in the comment section below. I couldn't go over everything. I don't want to sit here all day boring you guys. You guys got enough stuff to do. So thank you for watching. And if you want, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll be sure to upload videos regularly. I want to try to do it 6 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but I don't think that that's realistic. That's what I said in my introduction, but I'm going to just try and just try it out and see what I can do with the time that I have available. Thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for my next video on how to love the unlovable. Take care.